Jessica here from Stitching Colours. Welcome back to another whip update. So I was meant to record yesterday, but I didn't. I had a bit of a headache and went, tomorrow's another day. Well, I should say today's another day. And yeah, I guess it probably doesn't help that it's just the way things have worked out, that now my videos have kind of synced up with when I have to do weekend work, so it makes it a little bit more niggly. Anyway, I am going to show you what I've worked on over the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to exclude any stitching I did yesterday because you'll see that next time. Luna's currently on the table. She knows she's not supposed to be on the table, but I know she won't move as much as I tell her off until I actually get up to go pick her up and take her off the table. So we'll leave her there for now. Today is the 18th of August and I can't believe we're already midway through August, so the end of the year is getting closer and closer. It's gonna fly by. Anyway, I have got 9 projects that I've worked on over the last 2 weeks, and that is a total of 14,269 stitches, so I've been quite happy. Okay, so these are in no particular order. But the first one I have here is the Dragon Race Into the Night. This is based on the artwork by Rose Khan, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is the regular version, and this is stitched on 25 count 1/1. So you should have already seen where it was at last time, but here is where we're at now. So many of you may remember that I have been working on this page with this tree. I got some good progress on the tree, it's just not quite finished yet. So let me find this one. This one had 801 stitches on it. So all I did was move all of those parked threads and stitch them in, or stitch them on through the page and park them on the next page, and then continued filling in and parking things on the next page as needed. So it's really coming along. I would say there's probably about 300 or 400 stitches left on that page, so that's really exciting. And then the next page has also got some tree in it over here, and then we start getting into some of the more exciting dragons and things like that. So that's going to be fun. Yeah. She's got claws and yet she can still slip over on the carpet. As she runs around. Alright, the next piece I have is another Heaven and Earth Designs piece. This is Mini Heart of the Storm, which is based on the artwork by Lisa Parker, and this is also stitched on 25 count 1/1. So this is a piece that is a possible finish for next year, just depending on how much attention it gets in the rest of this year. So this piece got 1,741 stitches on it, so some really good progress. So you should have already seen where it was at last time, and here is where it's at now. So if you look closely, you can see I was filling in all of below the owl's body and the legs and feet, talons I guess, which are gripped around the scroll, and then the scroll has got a string that goes fairly far down. Once I get this part finished and this next part, a lot of it is bulk stitching from there on, so it will go really quickly once I get those done. It's just whether the motivation is going to be there quite so much is going to be the big question. But I am loving working on this one. Stitching Addicted is also working on this one. We're at a similar point. She did a little bit further down here, but not as far down here. And I think we're kind of in a similar level around this area. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue to progress and move along as we go. This one I got the Heaven and Earth Designs kit, which was the thread, and I didn't get the fabric for some weird reason. I'm not quite sure why. I think I may have just ticked the wrong box when I ordered it. It's quite possible. Okay, the next one I have is a Gecko Rouge piece. This is Searching for God, based on the artwork by Jonas Joe Dyke, and this has had some good progress on it. So this one's stitched on 25 count 1/1, and this got another 953 stitches on it. So you may remember from last time that I was working down this page here. There was a little chunk down, hang on, let's get that out of the way. There's a little chunk missing at the bottom of the page, and then my next plan was to go back down the next strip of areas. And so you can see that's what I was working on, and I'm really happy with how this one's coming along. So this one, as I get further along, a lot of the depth and colour is coming through a lot more. It looked very dark and gloomy up here and very blue for some odd reason. But now as I get more stitched on it, it is looking a lot better and more green and forest-like. So as I get further and closer to the middle, it is going to get brighter and more green. So it's really exciting to see how that one's coming along. And it's one of those ones that has been neglected for longer than it should have been. Luna is going absolutely loopy for who knows what reason. Okay, the next piece I have to show is the Halloween Village Afghan. So this is a Stony Creek piece, and this is the one that I'm working on with Stitching Addicted as well, and there's a few other people working on it, and it's really exciting seeing how some of them are coming along. Some of them seem to have been left to languish a little bit, but it's hard with some of these big pieces. I think I've worked out from posts that I've seen on Facebook that there's about 300,000 stitches in this piece. So that's not a small undertaking, and people do seem to get stuck on it in certain places, the pennants and even some of the edge line. So this one is the one that I'm working on 28 count 2/2 using CXC thread and the called for specialty threads. So this one got 1823 stitches on it, and you should be seeing, or should have already seen, where you saw it last time, but hopefully this is all in camera. But here's where we're at now. So what I was working on is all over here. So I've done about half of this page. So there was half a back that I needed to finish that crossed over the edge. And then I've done the checkerboard pattern right down to the bottom, the vines, and then the start of this pumpkin here. There are some flowers with some really fine trailing branches that lead off from the pumpkin, I believe, but I have not done those yet. So it's not a huge amount to look at here, but it is still very exciting to think that I'm not far away from being finished this row of pages. So I can't wait to come back to this one. I absolutely love the way the moon looks. It really seems to stand out. It's just spectacular. I can never know whether this is fully in camera or not, so I'm just gonna have to hope. I tried to move the camera a little bit further back this time in hopes that it would be fully in camera and I could get it in camera, but I'm not sure how successful I was. So, oh, yeah, I think I was successful. So yeah, this one will get a bit more progress yet, and yeah, I can't wait to work on it a bit more. Stitching Addicted is at a very similar point, and we've also got Enchanted Stitching, who hasn't been working on it as much. She's a bit behind up on the top row of pages, but I'm sure she will catch up eventually. I know Stitching Big Things with Hayley is working, or Haley, yeah, it's been a long week. Is also working on it, and it's really exciting to hear that she might be pulling that one back out again. So, moving on. What's this next one? It's like a lucky dip when I pull these projects out. I grab them from their bags, pop them on the chair beside me, and then just, because they're all folded up, I've got no clue what I'm picking up until I pick it up. It's interesting. Alright. The next one I have is a Pain-Free Crafts piece. So this is Blackbeard. This is based on the artwork by Adrian Chesterman, and this, I believe, is a retired piece from memory. Honestly, this one is one that has been left to sit with far too little progress for far too long, so I'm trying to get a bit of progress on it before October, when we have our new start to replace Archer. So in the meantime, it's going to get a bit of work, so you will see this one for a little bit. But this one has had 2,485 stitches on it, so you should have already seen where you saw it last time. This one is stitched on 25 count 1/1 using the kit that I got from Pain-Free Crafts. So here's where we're at now. Sorry about Luna, she's absolutely loopy right now. So I finished off this page here and have started on this next page. There's not a huge amount that's really visible because on this page is mainly the sail. I was gonna call it a flag, but it's a sail for the ship that's over in this side of the piece. So it's really starting to actually come together and look like something. So I'm hoping once I get another page finished, it's going to feel a lot more easy to come back to, I'm hoping. I know Archer kind of took priority and unfortunately Archer and this Blackbeard have very similar colours, at least in this upper section. Matches up a lot with where I was working on it, and it kind of took the priority and just didn't get a whole heap of progress. But I am getting some progress on it now, which is really good. I'm just in the process of going through my pieces that haven't had at least 5,000 stitches on them this year, and just trying to focus a little bit on those in particular, and a few other pieces that have been left to sit for longer than they should have. So you're going to see a few less frequently seen pieces for a while, probably until October, and then we'll see how I get on and things like that. Sometimes I find with some of these pieces, it's almost like they get left and you almost forget how much you love working on them until you put a few thousand stitches in them and go, oh, actually, this is an awesome piece. Regardless of the fact that you've been sitting there looking at this piece going, no, I don't really want to work on that one. So working on a piece for 5,000 stitches in a year is really helpful for me. I think I've only got about 7 pieces left that are less than 5,000. Some of them are quite close to it, and that's really exciting. So I'm going to try and get some progress on some of those ones that have been left alone a little bit more than they should have been, and we'll go from there for what I do for the rest of the year. Okay, this is another one that hasn't had the attention this year that it should have had, and that is Mini Magic Mirror. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece based on the artwork by Anne Stokes, and this is another retired piece. So this one had 1,701 stitches on it, so got some good progress on it, and you should be seeing where you saw it last time, but here is where it's at now. So you'll see I dealt with all of those parked threads, which is great, and then I just started filling in some of this upper section as well. So in particular with all the parked threads, you will see that a lot of the hair up down there has been filled in. So this is the other top corner, so I've got the 2 top corners, and it's just going to be a matter of continuing and getting that filled in downwards. So that's really exciting. I'm finding I'm getting to a lot of that with some of my pieces, is that I'm actually finding the second corner now, which is really exciting and really good to see with some of these bigger pieces and some of these small ones that just haven't had the time that they should have, whether that's because of the level of confetti that's present in them or anything like this one. Yeah, I am loving this piece, and it's just been one of those ones that's been left to sit longer than it should have been. Okay, what's this one? Okay. The next one I have is Lackadaisy Card Shark, another Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and this one I am loving working on. I actually will admit that I hated this one only about 1.5 years ago. It sucked to work on, and I don't think I realised how much fun it was going to be. Well, I knew it when I bought it, but working on it was a different reality. So I think now that I've gotten to a point where I can actually really see some things coming along and coming together, it's really starting to become a piece that I really want to work on. But maybe that's just the pretty colours and the peacock feathers. So this one got 1628 stitches on it. So this one again is stitched on 25 count 1/1, and here is where it is at. You will see I've dealt with a lot of the parked threads from when I was finished up the previous page, and you'll see that this peacock feather, the middle bit of it, is pretty much all filled in now. There's a few little holes in it, and then I'm just working on the side of it along with down here. And I've also filled in a bit more of the black across here. So it's just one of those things that's going to take a bit of time because there is an awful lot of black on this edge. But I guess that makes up for the confetti that is present in other areas, like in these peacock feathers, which are amazing. They look spectacular. Totally worth the confetti and horror that they are to stitch. And I think that's some of what I'm absolutely loving about this one, is that now that I have got some good progress on it, it feels like I'm actually getting somewhere and not just stitching and getting nowhere. So that's really exciting. Okay, I think I've got 2 more to show you. So we'll go with this one first. I know what these last 2 are. Okay, this one is Deep Ocean by Milos Karanovic, and this is another Heaven and Earth Designs piece. So this one is going to need a bit more time on it before it actually looks like anything still, but I did stitch 1574 stitches on it, more of 939 pretty much, and 310. There was some 310 in there. So here's where it's at now, and again it's just looking like a big block of navy blue, black, depending on what you're looking at in your lighting. So it's one of those things. I am, however, really close to the bottom of the first page, because the bottom is about here-ish. So that's really exciting, and hopefully I will start to get a little bit more colour and things like that. And then some of the little intricacies that you do see in person that don't show up in camera, like there is, it doesn't really show up, but there's a like a line here of darker stitching, which is like the cornice, or yeah, between the ceiling and the wall, and it's just very blue tinted, so it doesn't really show up yet. I'm hoping that once I get a lot further along it will show up more. Stitching Addicted is also working on this one, and she's working the 3 blocks right across the piece, and hers looks about as blue as mine. So it's interesting. So this one I'm working on at 28 count 1/1 using all of the DMC. So it's gonna need a bit more time on it yet, but I'm happy with how it's coming along. It's just a lot of 939, and honestly that's a pathway that's going to continue through the entire piece. I'm pretty sure it's just about 50% 939. Not quite, but by the time you go 939, 823, it probably is, yeah. So it's fun, but a lot of blue, and it can be a little bit hard stitching at times. Okay, now onto something a little bit more brighter to finish up. Yep, that's last one. Wanted to double check I didn't forget a piece like I have recently. Okay, so the next one I have is Autumn Dragon. So this is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece based on the artwork by Sheena Pike, and this is another retired one that might be available through another charting company now. I'm not quite sure where things stand at this moment in time, because I know Sheena Pike has done a lot of wandering around, shopping around for different charters in the last few years. So this one is stitched on 25 count 1/1, and this piece doesn't have a background charted for it, so it makes it a little bit harder around the edges because it's a bit more jaggedy, and so it's been a little bit fun. Okay, so this one got 1563 stitches on it. You should have already seen where you saw it last time, but here is where it's at now. So there's quite a bit of progress I've gotten done. So I have managed to get the edge of this page 2 up the top done, and I just started filling in and getting rid of those parked threads that I had further down on the page. So there are a few left, about half a dozen of them, maybe a dozen close to, but it is coming along quite nicely and I'm really happy with how this one's coming along. It has finally reached the 5,000 stitches on it for the year, which is really good, and that 5,000 I definitely find makes enough of a difference that I want to come back and work on these pieces, so it's really good. So that is all of the pieces I've worked on over the last 2 weeks, except for the piece I worked on yesterday, but you will see that next time I video. So thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a lovely day and a great weekend, and that you find some time to get some stitching done. Alright, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!